Welcome to our weekly weigh-in. Today is Sunday, July 7th. We're Laraine and Christopher Durham. Laraine, he's Christopher.
That's me.
And this is The Downsized, where we share our weight loss adventure, tips, tricks, and the latest news on Glp-1 medications, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, tirzepatide, and semaglutide.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, we like to remind you that we are not doctors or medical professionals. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting or adjusting any weight loss medication or treatment. This is our weekly weigh-in where we like to give you some insight into what the scales say. Sometimes that's terrifying, sometimes it's exciting. But before we do, if you haven't visited us before, as Laraine said, I'm Christopher, she's Laraine. We are married, if you hadn't figured that out. Parents, we have a couple of kids, and we'll give you some updates on where we are in our medications. But basically, we're a couple raising kids, trying to live our lives. Yeah, pretty much. So tell me about your week this week.
I'm in maintenance. Today I took my 38th shot. I hit my goal weight of 150 pounds 10 weeks ago. I'm currently in maintenance. This morning I weighed in at 144.2, which is a total loss for me of 48.8 pounds. So this week I was up 0.2 pounds from last week, which is fine. I'm trying to maintain. My current dosage is 7.5 milligrams of compounded tirzepatide. I'm on the third week of this dose. So as I was losing weight, I got up to 12.5 milligrams, hit my goal weight. So now I'm coming down every 4 weeks in dosage. I'll do one more shot of the 7.5, and then the week after that I'll drop to 5.0 milligrams. But I've been thinking about dropping my goal weight to 140, which would be about 4 more pounds down. If you guys haven't tuned in before and heard me talk about how I'm shrinking, as you are shorter, then your goal weight is less. When I was in my 20s, I was 5'5" and a half. I rounded that up to 5'6", and my goal weight was, with Weight Watchers, 156. And so then I shrunk a half inch. About 2 years ago, I went to the doctor and they're like, you're 5'5". So I'm like, well, crap. Now I have to be a 5'5", goal weight of 150. So that's what I put in, and that's what I used for our purposes and for Weight Watchers. And I hit lifetime with Weight Watchers. But in March, I went to the doctor and they took my height, and it was 5'4" and a quarter. So I'm like, how did I go from
She came home crying.
How did I go from 5'5" to 5'4" and a quarter? I'm 55 years old. That's what happens, but I didn't really mind being shorter. What I minded was now my goal weight is really less. So a 5'4" person at Weight Watchers, the top of that goal weight range is 146. So today I'm 144. So if I'm really supposed to be 146, maybe I want to be 140 to have some wiggle room to maintain that.
But you've always pretty much stuck with the top of the Weight Watchers range.
Yeah, a 5'4" person, they say can weigh, I think, from 120 to 146. I definitely don't want to be 120 because that would I don't think that would look good on me. But 4 more pounds, maybe 140.
So if you were starting this over again and hadn't been entrenched in Weight Watchers for the last 30 years, how would you think about picking your goal weight?
There's a lot of weight charts out there. You can Google like goal weight ranges and ideal weight ranges, and most of them are ranges. So you can pick. If you'd have told me a year ago that I would be 144 pounds today and that I would be wearing a size 4 or 6 when I'd been a 12 or 14 my whole adult life, I would say, you might as well tell me you're going to fly me to the moon, because that just seemed like the most unachievable thing to me. And it's this medication.
So what process would you use though? Because if I'm starting, right, I talked to a lady yesterday who is going to take her first shot next week.
Okay.
So how would I approach deciding what my goal was?
You can check with your doctor if your doctor is open
I wouldn't
to this
say I guess. That's definitely where you should start.
Well, that's where you should start. But a lot of times doctors, they're guessing. It's a guess. And maybe set goals for yourself in increment. If you want to lose 20 pounds or you want to lose 30 pounds or 50 pounds, set goals and then reassess. See how you feel. I've never been this weight before. I really can't tell you. I would say go to Google ideal weight chart and see what you think for your height and
So there are a
gender.
lot of weight charts out there.
There's
I
a
would
lot.
say let's give you a little more process than that. There are a couple of different weight charts out there, including the Weight Watchers. There's BMI, there's BMR. Go take a look at them all. Talk to your doctor. Look at your blood work. And work with them to find something that feels like it's going to be healthy to you. And that may have to adjust as you go along. The goal is to be healthy and to feel better and have clothes fit and do all of those things. You can find a right range for you. Now, was this the first week that you were actually up a little bit?
No, I think in the 10 weeks I've been maintaining, I've been 0.2 or 0.4 up here or there. Not a really big deal. No, it's always my fear that one day I'm going to step on the scale and I'm going to be back to where I started and this will all have been a dream or something. I've always gained all the weight back before, so I'm just very scared that this is going to come back. I don't want to just get as low as I can get just to insulate myself a little bit.
And stay healthy. We're not going as low as... We're
And
not
stay healthy.
going...
Stay healthy. No, that was never... Health was never my original quest. But as I've gotten older, it is important, and I want to maintain my muscle. I have some loose skin that I don't like, and I don't want to have more loose skin, so I want to do more weight training and try to keep the muscle that I have.
So people always ask us about the medications that we're taking and stuff. Did you want to tell people how they can start their weight loss journey?
I've lost through these whole, 38 weeks with compounded tirzepatide. Through my whole weight loss journey, I have used compounded tirzepatide, which I get from an online health provider called Mochi Health. If you'd like to save $40 on your first order, you can use my discount code, which is QIYGO8. We'll have it in the description, and you can save $40 on your first order. It's joinmochi.com. I am not compensated by Mochi, but if you save $40, then I save $40 on my next order.
Cool. And it works well for us. They do a great job.
It works. The customer service is very responsive. Shipment's great. I've been getting shipments all the time from Hallandale Pharmacy is who they use to fulfill my order. I've heard other people talking about how it's fulfilling their order with Akita Pharmacy. So they may be switching over. I don't know.
I don't think they're switching over. And I think all of the telehealth providers are using a variety of different compounding pharmacies based off of where you live in the country, I think it's a lot based on volume, so who can fulfill it as well.
I think Hallandale is probably getting overloaded with orders. I have noticed it's taken them a couple extra days, especially this particular last time I ordered. But I did reach out to Mochi. I messaged them and I said, can you check out my order? It's taking a little bit longer than usual. They're like, the pharmacy has it. It'll be to you in a few days. So I've just got my eye on it.
Yep.
How's your week, Christopher?
It was a good week, actually. I started out at 285.4 on September 29th when we started this adventure together. This week, I lost 1.8 pounds. So if you've been following along, the last, couple of months have been up, down, flat, stalled, all kinds of crazy for me. A lot of it, I think, was from travel, from a colonoscopy. There's just a lot going on. So my current weight after being down 1.8 pounds is 213 pounds. So that's actually my lowest weight to date. Puts me down 72.4 pounds since we began on September 29th. So, feeling good about it. My current dosage on the compounded tirzepatide is 15 milligrams. And that's my second week. This week when I did the shot, I really felt it.
And this is the top dose, 15.
Top dose. Really, probably since, the second or third level dose, I haven't. It has worked, but I haven't obviously felt it, so I haven't had side effects. Last night, my stomach was I had a little bit of stomach cramps, a little bit more dry mouth, kind of medley thing.
We also went out to eat. Had some wine.
Yeah, which I'm not really a wine
You're
fan.
not a wine fan.
It's not my thing. But it seems to be more noticeable this time. So
I like when you feel it because it's doing something like it's working. It's always working, but you feel it.
And so I tell this story every week. But for those of you who are just joining us, my medical progression has been, I started out really talking to my local physician 2 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer than that. And at that point,
We tried to get Ozempic.
the Zepbound wasn't even out. Zepbound wasn't even available at that point. We tried to get Ozempic. It was just so cost prohibitive.
It was $1,200. It was just like, it was just too much.
So my doctor had written me, and a great local physician, he talks to me. I always love it when you go into a doctor and they sit and talk to you and you don't feel rushed and they're asking you questions and they're actually listening.
What's that?
I know, but he's great.
Yeah, no.
He's great. So we have spent the last 2 years working on that, and then Zepbound came out, and obviously the numbers on that went up another, 4 or 5 percentage points on what you could lose there. So we finally got to a point this past year where it was something we could work out financially and we could get it and all of that. But I actually started on the compounded tirzepatide to begin with because it's a little cheaper. And then as I worked with my doctor, went to Mounjaro and then went to Zepbound because of shortages. And now because of shortages, went back to the compounded tirzepatide. I've seen no difference in side effects and weight loss in any. It feels
the same from the Mounjaro to the compound to the Zepbound to the same.
No difference whatsoever for me. Honestly, the only real difference for the compounded is if you've ever done the pen. So that's
it's a much nicer shot experience.
It is a much nicer experience.
With the brand
it's easier. It just is.
So if your insurance will cover you for Mounjaro or Zepbound, get it. Call every pharmacy in town until you can find it. But for those of you like us without insurance, it might be cheaper to go the compounded route.
So it's a little bit cheaper on the tirzepatide Zepbound. I think it's significantly cheaper on the semaglutide side, right?
The semaglutide is much cheaper. So semaglutide is comparable, same medicine as in Wegovy and Ozempic. We don't take semaglutide, we take tirzepatide, and that's the same medicine as Mounjaro and Zepbound.
Yep.
Tirzepatide has been proven to people lose more weight on the clinical studies.
So Eli Lilly, I'd love to stay on your branded medication all the time.
Yeah.
I have a script right now we're trying to fill.
15 we're trying to fill. Can't find it.
Give us some great prices and keep it in stock, and I'll buy it every month. Absolutely. Anyway, so that's how the weight loss has been this week. We always then like to invite you to be a part of our interview series. You want to tell them about that?
Yeah, every week we have a series called The Downsides Dish, where Christopher or I interview someone who's on their weight loss journey. So if that's you, if you want to come on and talk to us, we'd love to have you on the show. Send me an email to ldurham@folio28.com. We'll have that in the description for you. And it doesn't matter if you're thinking about trying it or just starting or in the middle or at the end or on maintenance. There's so many people out there that will probably relate to your story or have a story just like you. And I like talking to different people and seeing how they've reacted to the medicine, the weight they've lost, any tips or tricks they're doing that we can share. So let us know.
And I say this every week, we're actively chasing doctors, nutritionists. Honestly, I've been chasing a couple of academics, professors that have worked on some of the studies. And
if that's you, send me an email.
So you don't necessarily have to be on the journey. If you want to talk, if you want to have a conversation about GLP-1s and their health effects, what you should eat, all of those things related to it, happy to do that as well. And even with, and we'll talk about in the news of some of the public policy conversations with Bernie Sanders and the president and the whole 9 yards. If you want to talk public policy about GLP-1s, hey, let's have a conversation. We're always happy to make the conversation broader and just include everyone in our umbrella and give you the stage. We'd love to be able to have that conversation as well. Then we like to talk about where we were, what's going on in our week, the challenges, the excitements,
Yeah, so we had 4th of July this week. We went to a friend's house that lives on the lake up here at Lake Norman. Beautiful lake house, beautiful views. We could watch fireworks all around the lake, and that friend the house we went to, he must have bought $1,000 in firework. In North Carolina, if you drive across the border to South Carolina, you can get the better fireworks.
North Carolina, you can't shoot anything in the air.
Yeah, we're about 30 miles from South Carolina. So anyway, he had a great fireworks display, and we were talking about, foods and stuff, and somehow somebody said, oh, they lost a bunch of weight, and I said, oh, are they on Mounjaro? And one of the people there said, "Oh, I'm on Ozempic." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, tell me about it." So she'd been on Ozempic for 4 weeks, and I think 4 weeks, and lost about 20 pounds. And was it just starting? She had just come back from a
That's
trip.
a significant loss in 4 weeks.
Yeah, and she had just come back. It might have been longer than 4 weeks. Maybe. Anyway.
She was short, too.
Yeah, we were comparing height, and I told her my trauma of shrinking, and because I said, "Oh, you're about the same height as me. You're like 5'4", 5'5", and I'm 5'2", and I was like, "Oh, I am indeed shrinking." She had just come back from a trip with her husband to Scotland because her husband was from Scotland, and she traveled with 3 shots with her, and she did not refrigerate or keep them in a cold pack. She said they can be out of the refrigerator for 28 days
Which
and
is
still
what
be
the
good.
manufacturer says.
Which is what it says on the label. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "How'd that go?" And she goes, "Fine." She goes, "I got back from vacation. I thought I would be up, and I was actually down 2.2 pounds." And I was like, "That's awesome." She goes, "Yeah, my husband got on the scale, and he gained 15 pounds."
That's a lot of haggis.
So he wasn't a big guy. I guess he was eating all of his foods from
His favorite Scottish foods?
His favorites.
You
from
said there
home.
was Scottish candy?
Yeah, she said he was eating a lot of Scottish candy.
I don't even know what Scottish candy is.
I don't really want to know because I love candy anyway. I don't need something else rattling around in my brain to think about with candy. But yeah.
If you've watched, Laraine regularly works out at our community center here. It's a lovely community center. Mm-hmm. And you did yoga?
Yeah, yesterday, or I guess Friday, I went, it was the day after 4th of July, and I was like, I gotta go to the gym because I just feel like I ate some desserts at the thing. And anyway, it was just time to go back. I went and I did the bar burn class, which is a ballet bar inspired class, and you use some light weights and some heavy weights, and we did a lot of booty stuff because my booty's hurting today. So you did something when you're sore the next day. And then I was just feeling it, and right after the bar burn class, the same teacher also teaches a power yoga class. So I'm like, oh, I haven't done yoga in a really long time. So I stayed for the yoga class. I usually don't do 2 classes in a row because one is plenty for me. But I was feeling good, so I stayed for the yoga, and it was the first time I had done yoga, I think, since losing a significant portion of my weight. I probably had done some when I was 20, 30 pounds down, but now that I'm 50 pounds down, it really felt different. And a lot of the yoga is you go downward dog, and then you do a plank, and then it goes to a push-up, and then anyway, if you've done yoga, you'll know what I mean. Christopher has never done yoga.
I have not done yoga, no.
And it just, a lot of things were a lot easier. Like when you have to, like, when you're in like a plank position or down dog position and you have to bring one of your feet to between your hands. I could never do that before because I had too much body in the way. And so now I don't. I was like, oh, I can do this now. Like I can, it was kind of a weird feeling, but it was good. I was, glad I was able to do it.
Well, that's good. And we had our youngest daughter turned 18 this week. Mm-hmm. So we did a birthday party for her at our neighborhood pool and the clubhouse. About, 30 kids. The last hurrah for them before they all go off to college. Mm-hmm. Man, I cooked. If you've watched, I love to cook for crowd.
I was just telling somebody that today.
A smoked pork butt and some barbecued chicken, green beans, macaroni and cheese, black baked beans, corn on the cob. Corn on the cob was $5 for $2 or something.
Yeah, corn's cheap right now.
It's so fresh right now. Mm-hmm. Eat fresh vegetables when they're out there. It's the best time. And you made a cake or 2 cakes?
Yeah, so I have this cake pan where you can make numbers by moving the little blocks around. Got it at Aldi a long time ago. But I made a 1 that was vanilla and an 8 that was chocolate. And my daughter doesn't really like cake. I just wanted to make a cake because I like cake. Christopher doesn't like cake. Mm-hmm. So I took it to the party, and some of the kids ate it. We also had some ice cream novelty things that my daughter wanted, so we had those too. So we ended up bringing, in addition to a large portion of food back home with us, a large portion of this cake. So the next day, I was like, ooh, cake. So I was like, I didn't have a chocolate piece yesterday, so I cut off a chunk of the chocolate, and I'm eating it, and then I'm picking at it, and I'm picking at the other one, and I'm like, I got to get rid of this cake. The cake had to go away.
Yeah, but that's what we've done this week. We also, this past week, launched our website for the downside. Downsize.org. If you haven't visited, go and visit. It's really our opportunity to do a couple of different things. Number one, have a home to house a lot of the resources that we talk about, particularly in the news. So any of the research projects and things, I'll try and put a link there. You can go read in detail about all of that if you'd like to. Lorraine's tracker.
Oh, yeah, my spreadsheet that I made.
Spreadsheet.
You can download a copy if you'd like.
You'll see a lot of content being added there as we talk about it on the news or in various things, as well as our GLP-1 companion product store. So it's an Amazon affiliate store that we've curated, I don't know, about 20 or so items on there. You can go take a look and see what we use.
Yeah, so people have asked me, what do you use for constipation? What protein powder do you like? What do you use? So we've put a collection of stuff that I use, or I don't know that you really use any of them.
A couple of them. But,
but things that I like, that I've tried, and that people ask me about, that we've talked about on the show. I had somebody the other day ask me about what shampoo and stuff I use for my hair, and did my hair fall out.
Concern was hair loss, yeah.
And I know I look like I have a lot of hair, but I used to really have a lot more hair. I did lose hair during my almost 60-pound loss total from a year ago today till now. So I've just started using better product. I've put them on the website. You can go check them out. I've washed my hair less. Like, I only wash my hair every 3 or 4 days. I try to be really gentle when I brush it. I try to be really gentle when it's wet. I use a wide tooth comb. I sleep with my hair in a back in a satin scrunchie so it doesn't get all...
Me too.
Did you have any hair loss, Christopher?
Well, I cut it. Yeah. I don't know.
No,
it was falling out to begin with.
Your hair, I don't think your hair looked different from the start till now. So
who knows? The other thing I did want to say about that was, though, we had a lady comment on one of the videos this week that she was starting medication next week, and she wanted to make sure she bought all the stuff, and she was confused, and it was a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of influencers out there, a lot of YouTubers out there, TikTokers, the whole 9 yards, saying you got to buy this, selling this. What I would tell everybody is, buy the medication. Make it as simple as possible. You do not have to buy anything else. Okay? You don't. Everything that people are selling might be nice to have, but you do not have to have them. You don't have to buy anything from the stuff that's on our site either. Some of them are aids that have helped us. If you can take the medication, lose weight, and get the protein you need from real food, meat, vegetables, fibers, the whole 9 yards, you don't need anything else. You may find that as you don't eat enough, you might want some protein supplements. You might get constipated, and there's constipation aids there. But what's on there is not anything that anybody else isn't recommending.
Personally, I would recommend that, because for me, the biggest side effect for me was constipation. I would just recommend just to get ahead of that. You start with some fiber gummies. You have some laxative on hand, like a Miralax or something like that. If you go 3 or 4 days without pooping, you need to get that moving.
Laraine has a whole video we've got probably next week on constipation, but
yeah,
stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
And if the products that we have there work for you, if not, talk to your doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, my doctor recommended Miralax to me.
The only thing I tell everybody they should have is a good multivitamin.
Yeah.
It's not, you're going to eat less, take some vitamins. Can be any brand as long as they're, it doesn't have to be expensive.
I take a Centrum Women Over 50 vitamin.
The ones that are on our store, Centrum vitamins, and I think every grocery store and drugstore has them. It's not, there's nothing secret about it. The important piece is start your journey, pay attention to your body. If you need help getting protein, if you're constipated, if you have nausea or whatever, that's when you need to do something about it and talk to your doctor and actively manage your health. And hopefully some of those things can help, but they're not required. Don't feel like you need to spend another $1,000 on extra stuff.
Now, if you're like us and your insurance doesn't cover your medication, you're already paying so much out of pocket just to get to this point. Don't feel like you have to spend even more. Yeah.
As an aside, we talk about weight and all of that stuff, but occasionally we'll talk about kind of non-scale victories. And as I film this, my non-scale victory I'm noticing is this watch is now too big.
Yeah, my Apple Watch, I had to switch to a strap that you can put like it's adjustable because my watch bands were just getting rapidly too big. When I exercised, they were just flopping around and it was driving me crazy. And I had a watch band that I really like that I got from Kendra Scott. I got it one year for Christmas, and it's just too big, and I refuse to pay a lot of money to buy the smaller version. So
if you pay attention, I have lots of watches. None of them are terribly expensive. This is actually an old school watch that is an automatic watch. So it's a System 51. It's $100, but it's $100.
How many watches do you have? Like, I don't know, 50 watches?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably
I have one
probably
watch.
Not 50,
it's my
a lot.
Apple Watch. Actually, I have some other watches in the drawer that I don't wear anymore. And I was thinking about doing a video on using your Apple Watch for your exercising, because I know a lot of people wear an Apple Watch, but they don't really take advantage of all the functionality. If that's something you might want to see, put a note in the comments, and maybe I'll just go through how I do it in a video.
That's been our week. Really good week for me. I lost a little bit of weight. Getting the kids ready to go back to college, finishing up the summer. No complaints. I know you don't like. I know.
Well, that's one reason why we were called the Downsize, because our kids are moving out, we're downsizing ourselves, and a lot of stuff.
At some point, I'm going to downsize the house, but not today.
Not today.
Not today. Thank you very much for being a part of our Downsize family as we explore the world of GLP-1s together. And what do we ask them to do, nicely?
Please like and subscribe. Our subscriber count keeps growing. Thank you for subscribing. And
we actually hit 2,000 on the 4th of July.
Yeah. So maybe by the time you're watching this, we'll be at 3,000. So please like and subscribe.
That'd be a giant growth.
That would be.
This runs very quickly.
What do they call it? A viral.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a video go viral at some point.
Maybe someday.
I don't know.
Who knows? I'm Christopher Durham.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And we're the Downside. Until next time, please take care.